Here's another installment in the resurrection of my 62 Chrysler 300. Still getting a little bit more work done to it. This right here is a piece of 1/8" steel that I cut in the shape of the bracket that actually bolts there. The factory firewall had a raised place where that bracket bolts, so I used the 1/8" steel plate to bring it out, and the bracket that holds your kick down and throttle linkage bolts right there. I hope to get all the linkage and bracket and everything chrome plated. Up here I've had Bob weld in all the vents solid, and I'm going to go back in there and sand all that down, or grind the welds, and then I'm going to put panel bond all the way around where he welded it to make sure there's no holes, and then I will probably smooth that off level with some Dynaglass, and then that will be painted flat black that goes behind the vent. And here's your vent. Found some neat little bumper bolts that work perfect. So that right there and right there, and that's what's going to hold down the back of it. And that'll be bolted down and sealed up and look factory. Over here Bob has welded in my floor pans. Those are welded in solid now. I've got to go back and do some grinding, and then those seams will also have panel bond put on them. Down here on the quarter, I'm going to do a little trick. Since I'm running airbags, I'm going to have shocks and all that back there. I thought about just running my exhaust out the bottom of the rocker here on both sides. Got some GMC Denali tips. We're going to suck those up into the rocker panel. I had to drill through the subframe on the rear, and I got some pipe nipples, 3" pipe nipples, cut those down and welded those in. I've still got to grind all that out, and I'm going to have to cut the torque box and cut the rocker to fit that Denali tip, but it'll have all a nice gap, even gap around it. Back here on the quarter panels, like I said, I want to light these 300 emblems up. That's a piece of diesel exhaust pipe. I still had to split it to make it big enough for the hole. That'll be welded up, and then this will all be welded to the quarter panel and ground down smooth to fit the contour. And let me show you on this other side what we're going to do. There's a bezel that actually holds the Chrysler 300 emblem in there, and it's red, white, and blue. I'm going to paint it with translucent paint so you can see through it, and put a bulb in that little pocket there. As you can see, I've got a piston ring on the inside of the pipe, and that's actually going to hold the Lexan lens that will be glued in solid and shaped down with the contour of the quarter panel. And then that bezel will hold the emblem on top of that. Probably put a little rubber seal in between the two to keep water in between them, or keep water out from in between them, and light those puppies up when the headlights come on. I've had him fill all the seams in back here. That'll all be nice and smooth. Still got to do a little bit of work on the trunk floor, but it's not bad at all. Not hardly any rust in this car really, except for the front floor pans and the very bottom of the rear quarters. There's a little bit, some holes there on both sides. We'll patch that up. Anyway, she's getting there. Won't be long now. I'll be doing my body work to it. A lot of sanding, a lot of blocking, a lot of mud to sling on this big old car. We're going to bolt the whole thing back together and put the Scott Super Slam front clip welded into where the old front end is. That's my old front end. A bunch of parts laying on it. But the Scott Super Slam front clip will be bolted on there. And I'll leave the doors and fenders on for when I do my body work, so it'll all be a nice smooth transition all the way down the side. You won't see any waves or high spots. Thinking about putting some metal flake on the roof.